start in a seated position, and seated means you could be in a chair if that's more comfortable for you as we center. Um, if you're sitting on the floor, cross-legged or stretching your legs out is acceptable. And you want to make yourself comfortable. I have like dog fur on my face. So we want to be comfortable, but we also want to not be so comfortable that we fall asleep. So we want to sit in an erect uh, posture so that we can stay awake and stay active, but still be comfortable so your body's not fighting with you while you're doing your breathing and your centering part of this practice. So as you're sitting, go ahead and close your eyes, allowing your attention and your sight to kind of close off so that you're letting go of what's around you, closing out the world around you, giving you the ability to begin focusing internally. So we take a couple of breaths as we begin to scan our bodies, scanning from the tips of the toes to the top of your head and back down again. Doesn't have to take a long time. And the more you practice this, the quicker you get at it, at recognizing where you feel tension or uncomfortable places, place that is dis-ease or maybe old or new injuries. Those things, we notice the bones, the muscles, the joints, and we feel what we're feeling. Where do we feel energy? Where do we maybe feel energy that's stuck? We feel inside our body. Are we full of food? Are we empty? Are we hungry? Digesting? And please notice your energy and your emotional state. All of these things are really important to measure, measuring the before and the afters. Or another minute or so to see what you're feeling, taking it all in. And once you have done that, let's go ahead and guide our attention to our breath. So as you become familiar with your breath, you start to connect to your breath. Begin by finding a sensation you feel as you're breathing. So what sensations do you feel that is caused by breath in your body? Something, notice it. We're going to also take an inventory of how the breath is moving. So we notice if our breath is fast or slow, deep or shallow, rough or smooth. Again, with that simple breathing technique we learned last week, where we're simply focusing on one point of breath. Feel what you feel, and we're watching the breath. We'll just take a few more breaths doing that. I'm going to begin moving into Samavriti, also known as equal ratio breathing. That simply means that we are breathing in and out to the same amount of time. And we can measure that by counting. So I will count the first couple or maybe 3 breaths for you. I'm going to count to the number 4 on the inhale and the exhale. If 4 is not high enough for you, feel free to go a little bit higher. But don't stress yourself. I don't want you to be breathing in, and trying to get all this air and stressing your body. It shouldn't be like that. Just a little bit longer, a little bit deeper, and a little bit broader than normal. Nothing crazy. Match our inhales and our exhales in line. This technique equals our balances our right and left brains, brings balance to our body as well. So as you're ready, let's go ahead and begin breathing in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 4. And how about taking 3 more breaths on your own? Counting to yourself as you inhale and exhale, using a number that works best for you. A bit deeper and longer than usual. Go ahead and drop the technique of equal ratio or samavriti breath and allow your breath to settle into its natural rhythm. Breath to settle into a natural rhythm, to notice the quality and the texture and the rhythm again. So we notice, are we breathing fast or slow, deep or shallow, rough or smooth? And what has changed? What feels different, or does it feel different from when you first noticed? Remember from last week's classes that when we can slow and smooth our breath, are signaling our nervous system to move from the fight or flight, sympathetic, to the parasympathetic, more relaxed state for the body. When your nervous system is relaxed, muscles are relaxed, and usually you to thin any pain that you might anything that's not good. Feel more calm, a more calm energy, a more peaceful feeling in the body. When you're ready, go ahead and float your eyes open to a new moment and a new beginning. And let's go ahead and take whatever you're sitting on out from under you. We'll sit nice and tall, and we're going to rotate our upper body into great big circles. So let your hands rest on your legs and then tip forward. We're tipping forward from the hips, so not from the waist. I don't want you to round your back. We're just going to kind of lead with the chest as you tip forward. Keep your seat on the floor, so especially the tailbone is pressing towards the earth, and then lean over towards the right. As you lean to the right, make sure you press that left hip point into the floor. So your left hip is grounding into the floor, and you can feel a nice stretch on your sides. And then go ahead and move back, draw the belly in, almost arcing your spine towards the wall behind you. And then we go over to the left side, and now keep that left or right hip grounded and back around to the front. I'm having trouble today with my rights and lefts. Go ahead and do that again. We're going to do 4 great big circles. Slow, deliberate movement. Isolating that rib cage a little bit. And then we come back around to the middle, back to the front, and we're going to reverse the circles and go 4 times this direction. Time to notice the sides and how that feels as you're moving. Increasing blood supply, increasing oxygen, that is energy, of our body. Rest of your practice. Back up to the middle now. Take your right hand on the floor, slide your hand away from your body, and stay up on the fingertips. Now the left arm is going to reach up. And as you exhale, slide your right hand away from you just a little further. Your hand come down onto its palm and its fingers. Bend your elbow towards the floor as you tip over and reach. your left hip pressing into the floor. Hold. See if we can find that equal ratio breath that we began with. In counting 1, 2, 4, 2. Breathing. Go ahead and now take your top shoulder and tip it towards the floor as you keep reaching out of the hips. A little different stretch here now. Looking down at the floor, keeping that left hip pressing back and down. Finding the breath with equal ratio breathing. And tip back to where you started, and maybe you can get your forearm on the floor. That's amazing. Top arm stays straight. Keep pressing the hip into the floor. Up. Full ratio breath. Next inhale. Get yourself back up to center. Let both hands rest on your legs. Close your eyes for a moment and notice the difference in the sides. Feel the space you created and maybe even notice kind of a buzzing or an energy that's on that side we just stretched. And open your eyes and we have another side. So we take the left hand on the floor away from us. Arm reaches up. And as we lean towards the left, we slide our hand away from us, bend the elbow, and stretch. Pressing the right hip into the floor, maybe looking up. Finding that breath, breathing in 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out 1, 2, 3, 4. Continuing to count on your own equal ratio breath. Go ahead and rotate the shoulders. So now you're going to look down, bringing that top shoulder forward and keep reaching your hand out as you stretch into that side and the kind of the back side of your body. Come back around where we began, maybe coming onto our forearm. Top arm is as straight as you can make it, and we're reaching and stretching, looking up if you can. Taking the breath. Inhale, come back up. I can't usually get to my forearms like that, so I think the longer holds and rotating is really opening the muscles and helping me with that. Go ahead and close your eyes, take a few breaths, feel your sides. Open your eyes, and then we're going to stretch our legs out. So turn on your mat so that you can stretch your legs out. Let's actually come onto our backs. We'll do some extending bridge poses, and then we'll come back to what I'm thinking of here. So with the knees bent and the feet on the floor, way down. Arms next to your body, palms face down. On your inhale, press your feet into the floor, lift your hips, and lift both arms up and over your head. And as you exhale, lower your arms, seat back to the floor. Try to make sure that your ankles are under the knees, not too far back, so our heels are about 4 inches from our seat. Our feet are about 4 inches apart. Ponytails just don't work with this, so they have to go away. Inhaling, remember that count of equal ratio breath. To a count of 4, exhaling to a count of 4, or to a number that's comfortable. Bringing a little more movement into our shoulders. hamstrings, our quads, strengthen our core muscles. Let's try two more. Last one. Pause. Notice how that series affected your body, what feels different. And bring your knees into your chest, giving yourself a great big hug. Side to side. And then when you're ready, we're going to find our way up to have a seat. So rolling to a side if you would like to, or take your hands behind your legs and kind of pick yourself up. Now we stretch our legs out in front of us. I would like you to have a towel or a blanket you can put under your knees. We're going to stretch out our hamstrings. So if you have a blanket like I have, I was at the Swap Mart on Sunday, Mesa Marketplace, and many vendors, I had quite a few vendors had blankets from Mexico, and they were selling them for $10. I feel like the price is coming down. I first started teaching, they were 7, and then they went up to 12 or 14, and now they're down. If you don't have a blanket, you can always roll a towel up. So we're going to roll that up into a little jelly roll, Tootsie Roll, and place it under the backs of your knees. And then I want you to make sure you're up on your sit bones, and we can do that by rotating the thighs. So if you want to tip over to one side, for me, I'm holding my left thigh. I'm going to press the inner thigh down and lift the outer thigh up, and then come back and then do the other side so that I can get the hip flesh out of the way and make sure I'm sitting up on my sit bones. And those are the two bones that are just at the bottom of your pelvic bowl. And we want to let our legs rest over that roll. Flex your feet so we pull the toes back toward us, and even spread your toes a little bit if you can. Press your knees into that roll. When you press your knees down, you're going to feel your quads become activated. So we're going to stretch our hamstrings, but we're going to do it with integrity. So we want to keep our muscles firm as we stretch. So from here, pressing your knees down into that jelly roll. Inhale, lift your arms up. And as you exhale, just fold a couple of inches forward. So whatever your halfway point is, halfway, stay on the center of the back of your heels. Toes are flexing and they're spread wide. Inhale, come back up. And then we're going to do that. Exhale. Inhale, come back up. Find that equal ratio breath. Let's do it again. This next time, we're going to go all the way down to your furthest point. Try to keep your spine nice and long. Chin is in a neutral position. So a lot of times we try to keep looking forward. I want you to bring your chin in so it's neutral. Back of the neck is long, so it's part of your spine. Keep pressing your knees into that jelly roll. Let your hands come down to the mat, your ankles, your knees, wherever you can reach. Now, take a moment to see or feel what your back is doing. If you are rounding your back and you look kind of like this, I want you to come up till your back is straight and draw those shoulders back, and that might mean you're sitting straight up. That's perfectly fine. If you tip forward, we'll tip from the hip hinge. Do a nice long hold. So it's kind of a little gentle practice today. Shoulders are back. Keep pressing your knees into that jelly roll. Keep your toes pulling back. Find your breath. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2. Keep counting to yourself. Each time you exhale, get a little closer to your leg. Belly and chest are moving towards the leg. Chin is neutral. We're not looking forward. We're gazing down. Our feet are still flexing. We're breathing in. For the bottom of your feet. Keep pressing into your jelly roll with the backs of your knees. Now please go ahead and take your hands on the floor next to your thighs. Lift your shoulders up and back and down your back. Press your hands into the floor and rise up. Take that blanket out. So once you have that blanket out from under your knees, again, flex your toes, pull the toes back. Inhale, get nice and tall. We're up on the sit bones. If you're on your sit bones, you might notice your back has a tiny arch to it. That is the natural curve. It's supposed to be like that. Exhale, halfway over. Inhale, come back up. Keep your feet pulling back. That's activating all the muscles of your legs. You can see the muscles of your legs are nice and firm. Exhale, halfway down. Inhale, come up. And again. Time, inhale, come up. And exhale, folding all the way forward as far as you can go with a nice straight back. Take your hands to the floor. Shoulders are down away from the ears and they're lifted. Your spine is nice and long. Take a few breaths, find that equal ratio breathing. And so we want to make sure our muscles are still active. So lift your kneecaps, engage your quad muscles, maybe pressing the knees towards the floor so they're active. Toes are still pulling back. We're breathing in, breathing out, maybe reaching for the bottom of the feet. Good. And then go ahead and take your hands on the floor next to your thighs. Inhale, come up. Good. Shake out your legs. Just done working. Means I don't know what time it is. Hold on. I want you to, we're going to do a little twist here. So there's a couple of options. So our legs are still out straight. We're going to bend into the right knee. And you have choices. You can leave your foot here. All the toe tips are pointing forward. And we're going to do a twist. Or you can cross your foot over your left leg. If you do that, and you can keep your the ball of your foot on the floor and all the toe tips pointed forward, then that's great. But if you discover that your foot is kind of coming up on its side and you're kind of here, then I want you to keep your foot over here. Okay, so make your choice there. I'm going to keep mine crossed over. And then we get really tall. And again, we have choices here. So if we need space with our upper body, we're going to turn away from our leg. So maybe I think about people who are pregnant. They can't turn towards their leg. It's too much compression. So they would turn away from the leg. Alternatively, if you can twist deeper, you'll turn towards your leg. So again, you choose which one you want to do. Take one arm behind you, whichever way you choose to go. Stay up on the fingertips, or you could also grab a block and put it behind you and place your hand on that block. That gives your arms a little more length. Mine away, stay up on my fingertips. Opposite arm reaches up, and as we exhale, we wrap our arm around that leg, draw it in and turn, twisting, looking over our shoulder behind us. If you are twisting with your body away from that leg, you'll take that arm around your knee and we're twisting here, or you can take your hand down onto the outer edge of your thigh and your knee and use that as a little leverage to twist. So we are all twisting one way or another, and we're going to take a few more breaths as we twist here, remembering that our twist comes from our waist, not our shoulders. So if you're cranking your shoulders, you'll hurt yourself. Don't do that. Squeeze your belly. So draw the navel in, rotate the ribs, the chest, the shoulders, and look over your shoulder as much as you can, and take another 2 breaths. Good, and then back around to the middle. Go ahead and stretch your legs out. Your hands rest on your legs, close your eyes, take a couple breaths, notice what that twist did for you. For me, I'm starting to feel a little warm, so it's building heat. Twists can build some heat, they are energizing. Float your eyes open when you're ready, and we'll do the second side. So we're going to take our left knee and bend it and find the variation of this twist that works best for your body on this side. And it might be different on this side. Inhale, we get nice and tall, shoulders are down, and we take one hand behind us. Other arm reaches up. Inhale, exhale, and find your twist. Excellent. Exhale to unwind. Legs out. Shake them out. And so I want to do a supported back bend now, and we have to have 2 blocks. So I want to make sure, I think everybody has 2 blocks. Hey, yay. All right, so we're going to take 1 block and put it at the back of your yoga mat. This is going to be for your head. And the other block is going to come on, you'll put it on its tall, not flat, the tall, thin side, and place it in the middle here. So you kind of create what looks like maybe a T. And we're going to rest on this. This block on the bottom is going to support your thoracic spine, your head. So we come in front of those blocks, bend your knees and place your feet on the floor. And then I like to reach back and find that block with my hands. And then we're going to roll our way down, and your spine should come just about where your bra strap is. Your spine is going to come onto that block. Take your time. Keep the knees bent with your feet on the floor, and slowly come all the way down. Actually get nice adjustments here, and let your head rest on the other block. Once you have that, I want you to squeeze your shoulder blades to the block. So really squeeze, opening the chest, opening the collarbones, and then relax that effort. Arms are away from your body, palms face up. A few breaths. So this is a little bit of an edgy feeling for our back, especially if you're not used to resting on blocks. If it's too much for you and you can't stay here very long, you can come up and put a blanket or a towel over that bottom block, and that will kind of dull the points of the block. It's a little less edgy, but you're still getting the benefit of this supported posture. See if you can hang in there for maybe 4 or 5 breaths, and then make that decision. Sometimes what feels really edgy at first kind of turns out to not be so edgy after a few breaths when we settle in. Take a moment to notice your lower back, if your lower back is okay and comfortable here. Stretch your legs out, straight along the middle. Feet rest hip distance, relax your toes out to the sides. This is a supported posture, restorative. Your eyes and your facial muscles. Your eyeballs feel heavy as they sink into their sockets. Facial muscles, the cheeks and the cheekbones, temples, jaw, your neck. Every time you exhale, you can allow your shoulders to move closer to the floor. Your fingers, legs are heavy. Door closed so the dog's barking. So we again focus on breath here, breathing in, counting silently up to 4, breathing out silently to the number, feeling your belly expanding with each inhale. To deepen fingers and toes. When you're ready, place both feet on the floor. And then draw your arms a little closer to your body and bring the forearms onto the floor next to your body, palms facing down. When you're ready, we're going to inhale, lead with the heart. So let's compress to help us get up. Drape ourselves right over our knees. Let your chin come in towards the chest. Forehead can rest on the knees, or you can stack your arms and let your head take a few breaths. Go ahead and lift your head and then reach back behind you and take those blocks away. And go ahead and lie back down to keep your knees bent with your feet on the floor. Once you're on the floor, take a few breaths there. Notice what that feels like. What does it feel like to lie on the floor without those blocks? It's kind of an interesting sensation. And then go ahead and rock your knees a little side to side. Back up to center. Draw your knees into your chest. Give yourself a great big squeeze. Rock side to side as you massage your back muscles. And come back up to the top. We're going to do some great big knee circles. So hands on the knees, push your knees away, open them wide and draw them back in. Or 4 wide circles going each direction. Take your time. Today's code word is rain. Reverse your circles if you haven't already. Come back up to the middle. Let's do a few rounds of Apanasana. Squeeze. Exhale and float your knees away as you inhale. Again, a few more times. Go ahead and prepare for Shavasana. Use props to make your body as comfortable as you can. It's to support your knees if you'd like to, or A blanket to drape over your body, comforting to the mind and the body, helps you feel like you're nurtured and healthy. Your arms rest away from your body, palms face upward. Sit up. So if you're watching me, I'm sitting up. I'll guide you through some relaxation. You rest in Shavasana. Back is uncomfortable. Remember, you rest your knees over a blanket or a rolled towel or even over a chair or a couch. Notice as our body rests on the earth, where do we feel connection to the yoga mat, to parts of your body feel that are touching what you're resting on. Find those places, soften them. The legs and hips are soft. Back, shoulder. Begin to let go. The time for rest. Our bodies to assimilate poses that came for this one. This one is the most important pose. Your attention to your breath. Point of sensation to follow. Counting or anything. Just let the breath flow. Let's watch. Begin to allow your breath to deepen. And energy. Feel fingers and toes and Hugging your knees into your chest when you're ready. Give yourself a great big hug of love and gratitude. Rolling to a side if you're choosing when you're body a chance to position. Take a deep breath and fill your upper back with that breath. Scan your body, noticing how you feel and remembering how you felt when you practice. Noticing the effects. Go practice. Spirit. Use the strength of your hands and arms to lift up to have a seat. We'll sit in Sukhasana, easy pose, delay mudra. Take another deep breath. Breathe in. Big exhale. Might still hold. For allowing me to guide you through your practice, that your presence matters. Keep showing up. Honor the light. Have a great rest of your day, and